It's like I'm bringing it back down under my right shoulder, right, bringing my hands back to the same spot to where they started. I'm feeling my body's rotation square that face. For you, I'm picturing that high draw. Just like that, right? Actually go with them, but it's just being here. Like after the backswing, bringing it down under the pocket and hitting that wall. And just being able to feel your body's turn and the connection between your hands, body, and club. Move back down the proper path, but also use the body's rotation to square that club face up. You know, that just takes reps. You know what I mean? It just takes reps, and it's important that you stay behind it, feel the arms swing past you, okay?
Mm-hmm. That's like it feels like I can do that from here, but I can't. Like if I do it from over here, it's just dead across it.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the thing. That's why you can't cut your turn short and not move your shoulder.
Yeah.
That's all. I mean, that's all I really have to say about that. You know, if you just turn your shoulder back, it won't be over here.
Right.
But if it's going to feel like it's up here and there's just no way. I can go like this, right? So it really boils down to you getting this shoulder turned back behind the golf ball and then being able to bring everything down alongside you. And that's what I was saying with this club. It's different with an iron than it is with a wood, right? You're sitting in here and you got to, it's like I'm bringing it back down under my right shoulder, right, bringing my hands back to the same spot to where they started. I'm feeling my body's rotation square that face. For you, I'm picturing that high draw. Just like that, right?
Yeah.
Boom. I like the visual of the wall being here. Turning, feeling myself squared up into that wall. Now that wall that's on the inside of my left foot right here, just use this golf club to show you guys. I'm just imagining my head staying back behind it, my hips turning back behind it, and the club face is squaring up right up against it. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And I'm just doing that over and over. And that's the feeling you want to have, okay?
Okay.
And do you know how much better you're going to hit it, by the way, when those clubs get fit to you?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean, dude, you can see it's obviously clearly better.
Yeah. Much better. Feels funny, but...
For sure. This is the feeling for you, too, just letting those arms and hands after you get right here swing away from your body a little bit, right? Not letting them just attach to your body. So it just gets so almost over-rotated, you know, where you're like, through the golf ball like this, like, what am I doing, you know?
Right.
You want to get up here, and you want to feel those arms accelerate and move out in front of your body center. So you're keeping your hands in the center of your body, always in motion together, but you're just not pinning the arms on your side. And that with the driver is detrimental to a driver, because the driver's a longer club. It's farther behind us to begin with, right? So we have to really work on getting the golf club past our body. And that's that feeling of this look right here, exaggerated right here, right? Boom. Boom. And then all together, letting it naturally release past your body. Yes, yes. Like you just can't practice that enough, right?
Yeah.
From the top of that swing, just finding that slot right here, right by your right pocket. We talked about earlier, great tip for our man here, great tip for everybody. There's that imaginary air bubble right here that our hands go back through. Well, guess what? They need to, on the way down, come right back through there. And that right there is just something that I just had a visual of always when I practice. Hand path back, hand path down. And as I'm rotating, the club face is squaring up with that rotation. And I'm really trying to feel that driver release past me. I don't want to hang on for dear life with that club. You want to get that little extra kick to it, okay? I mean, Matt, just for you, just getting right here and just feeling right here and just like we were doing earlier. You know, it's just the same thing we were doing with our low irons yesterday. Putting the club in this position, opening up and releasing, right?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here. You're just getting in the club in the right position. You're just opening up and releasing.
If I set up, can you show me where that position is? Like,
You got it. Hands in front of your body center right there.
Yep.
Pressure on the instep. And you're just going to turn your left hip back, and the club just gets right back to the ball.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that part you did, I don't feel like I've had the club over there. It's like when I'm doing this, I never, it's just coming down like this. It's never back here.
And that's because your body's turned at the top of your swing.
It's not long enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Longer and more behind, Adam?
Yes. Longer, more turn. Left shoulder more behind. Check this out. You can see it's driver, so naturally it'll want to get back to a little bit of the old way, right? But there's the lack of turn. And so your club's in there.
What the?
It's just
that swing?
Yeah. It's not outside.
Yeah.
It's just that it's just the driver just gets behind you. You can see how your chest is way out in front of your hands. And what I mean by that is this. That's why it looks very kind of jammed right there. You didn't get that look with the irons, right? Because the irons, we worked so hard this week on just getting everything. But this is what you need to feel like with your driver, literally like this. Makes sense?
Yeah.
It's just pinned behind you right now, and that's why you're kind of holding on to it a little bit as you rotate, which is why it's solid, but it just is bleeded a little bit to the right. But it's such a, I mean, it's so funny that you're sitting there, and I'm sitting there, I'm like listening to what you're saying, but I'm like, he's going to be really bummed when he sees his club is actually the opposite of outside. It's actually still inside. Just shows you how much you have to work on that. But that's the one thing, the only thing that's going to help that positioning, because I totally know what you mean. Okay, is if we're sitting there trying to hit a draw, and you feel like you're like this, it's like, oh my gosh, don't I have to go like this? Right?
I mean, that video, like, I could not even, like...
But the reality is, yeah, when you're sitting there and it's like it's right on plane right here. Yeah, I mean, it's just, at that point, it's just a matter of getting in the sequencing right and keeping your hands in front of your chest and feeling it all work in front of you like that. And that's why that's why it's weird. But it's just the repetition that you need to have of up, down, and feeling the rotation of that body square that club face up. Everything you're working on with your irons is going to help that golf club, though.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people think that's the truth, but the reality is, the more we get that golf club into this position, you feel it. The biggest thing, though, is this. I can still hit a draw from this position right here. It's just that I've got to really turn my body to get my hand. See that ball's drawing? I had to really turn my body, though, to get my hand path deep enough to where it would come down on a shallower plane. And that's where, if it just becomes a real short kind of lifty swing, well, now the chest is just already out in front of the hands. So that's why I keep telling you, slow your hands down. Get your chest turning your hands back there. Make sure your hands and the chest are working together and your body is really moving the hands to the top, because then it will stay looking right at your hands on the way down, and that's when the path of the swing starts to become the same and the swing plane becomes repeatable. But when the chest and hands are in separate directions, that's where it just makes it really tough, even with a good swing plane, to sequence the swing properly and actually get the ball to start on line. So I think it's important for you, like I said, just the rehearsals with the driver have to be relentless. You just have to feel the club head as you're doing it. So a lot of that is just making sure that, as you're turning, you're just club face aware and you're feeling that plane. Remember, as the days go on, you're still on day one. As days go on, you're going to be able to start working on this feeling, and it's going to feel a lot more natural and less forced, like you're trying to actually get the club into positions. And like your irons, it's going to feel like you just turn it up there, right? And as soon as you get that down, that's where we're going to start seeing the big progress. So if we can soften that move into just one consistent feeling to where you feel like, all right, we're just turning our hands and club back there together. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, now I can just work on tracing that line back down, feeling my body and hands stay together, and making sure that path stays consistent. Okay, so for you, when you get in here, I always look at what the tendency is of the ball flight, and I don't mind you practicing the opposite of that. So what do I mean by that? We're sitting there hitting little tiny cuts, right? Not a big deal. Well, let's just get in there and hit some little tiny draws. And maybe for you, do you have a tee by any chance, guys?
I got one.
Yeah, there we go. Awesome.
Shorter one.
Go. There we go. shorter one for a shorter guy. All right, here we go. You know, just right here. Back and back. And I just feel the club naturally rotating with my body, right? And you can see that ball just went pretty much dead straight, right? Yeah. But that was just my body just trying to take tiny little swings to be able to feel the connection between the club face and the center of my body as I turned. Boom. See how it's just hitting up against that imaginary wall right there? And I feel like as my chest turns, my hands are working with that. But if I'm back here, it's behind, right? And see that face?
Right, yeah, yeah.
Right? So that feeling for you needs to be a little bit more extreme than the one that I just showed you. I just showed you one where I was very literal. Use my body to screw up the club face. Yours might need to feel a little more like this. You see that? And what did that one do? Started right on the same exact line, but just turned the, 5, 6, 7 yards to the left.
It's really good to do it like that on command.
Hey, man, that's a lot of time with a golf club in your hands right there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, can you tell? You can literally see. You can literally see where the grip goes in the hands. Look at this. There's the left hand grip. It's literally framing the grip all the way through. And then you can look at my right hand, and it's just these two fingers that hold the club right in there, right? So you can see the frame of the grip there by the two calluses that are framing it. Mm-hmm. And you can see the calluses on this left hand framing it too. It's pretty cool. You know what it's like? It's like these.
You have like a built-in.
Yeah.
A built-in like path and avenue.
My students always say, see this thing right here?
Yeah.
That's Adam's hands.
Yeah.
My hands have the same built-in mold. You know what's funny? This is like the most natural place for my hands to be in the entire world right there. You know what's even funny about it? Check this out. So you guys see my pinky, how I have this grip? Mm-hmm. So look how funny this is from the years and years and years of holding my finger like this, because it's just the way I grip. Ready for this? Look at this pinky, how jacked up this is.
Oh my God.
I know. Look at how straight this one is. And look at this one. It's just because that happens to be the shape of where the knuckle goes. Look at the knuckle. See right there? I put it right in there. I've done that my whole life. And my fingers literally reshaped as a result of my grip.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, no, that's all that is just like when you wonder how that happens on command, just remember that.
Yeah. Apparently.
All right, here we go. See it. I don't even play anymore. I don't play golf. Did twice last year and set 2 course records though. That was what I'm talking about right there. And listen, I know you're a little off balance and stuff, but just to feel what you needed to feel with the golf club and how to work yourself in a direction, And we'll continue from a distance even to work with the driver, but the reality is we just appreciate you dialing in. And here's the thing, you just happen to need a lot of reps on a wall.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of reps holding a club up in a spot. Every single time we've come back here today and you've said, well, I can't really do it from over here, and we're sitting, Gabe and I are looking at you like,
no, it's not over there. I know.
It's not over there though. We know you feel like it is, but it's not. No, so the reality is that's where we need to continue to grind that. But then what's nice is that was a little tidbit of how you can work the path and the face of your golf swing to match what you need more of. Right? And that was something that will kickstart you in the right direction with the driver. That was nice to see that last one right there because it was very released and natural with the body and not, out in front and hung on to. Okay? So I feel good about that, but I would tell you, the way to utilize that online lesson. Let's recap what we did, make sure you're still doing it, and then maybe focus more, focus on like some specifics like driver and some longer clubs, you know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah,
but that club right there is just understanding, when I took you over and did a drill on the hill there and we just could find that, oh my goodness, we're way out in front of it. I just can't get the club past me. Then you started getting the feeling of it. Irons were easy to get down. The driver, that's the one where if you're ever gonna have your arms and hands and club behind you, that driver's another 8 inches behind those irons because of the length of it. Right? So the reality is we have to make sure that when we're practicing, there's a little bit more of an awareness of the hands moving back in front of the center of the body, a little more natural release to the golf club. I would be totally lying if I said I felt like I was like this with my driver. I feel like I'm like that with my wedges.
Right.
I feel like I'm like this with my 7-iron. I feel like I'm like this with my driver. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally.
Wedges, 7, driver. Like I'm letting the driver just get past my body.
Yeah, I mean, that last swing literally felt like this.
And I mean, when you look at it and pick, it was perfect, and then just a little bit of a release, you know. Yeah. But from where you've come from, of dragging that club face through, it's yeah, from so long, it's just going to be a little unnatural, but it's nothing that can't be fixed. Sure. I'm just more excited about what we had here. You know, let's go back to this again. I was going to do a real quick recap here, okay, and talk about what it is we worked on in this whole session. Go ahead and pull your phone out for a second, so at least you have this. To start your video, start a video here for yourself. All right, brother, ready? Here we go. So big thing this week. Tiny hip bump from the face on view, mixed with our good ball position that's going to take from wedges from the center of your body to woods to the left shoulder. Ball, everything else in between. From a down the line view, we talked about tilting from the hips, keeping the hip over the ankle and flexing the knees. Very nice sharp posture there. In our swing, it was all about the wall. All about the wall. Keeping the club in front of us and turning it up the wall. That's the feeling. I know you know the feeling by now, so I don't have to explain that much other than just telling you the wall. From there, we talked about getting our hands back down underneath our shoulder and making sure our hands hit that imaginary slot next to our pocket here. Remember the air bubble right here? Hands went back through there, hands need to come back through there. And that's what traps the ball and gets it really online. Okay, so if we can do those things, we're gonna be golden. Now, I'm really big on the wall drill. I'm really big on stopping it at the top as we've done and feeling the downswing so you can really divvy up the two feelings. I think that's gonna be, incredibly helpful for you. The driver, it's a little different animal, right? It's a longer club. It does wanna stick behind us a little bit more. We talked about the X factors of your swing. X factors being left shoulder needs to get more back behind the golf ball and complete the swing. That'll help you feel like you can get into more of a draw bias slot position. That's just neutralizing your a little bit steep feeling out of there, right? Okay, from there, we wanna make sure that weight loads in that right heel, and we can push off that right foot to get our hands down and past our body, okay? And as we push off, we want our hands moving with the weight transfer. So the small things, we're staying behind it, turning behind it, staying behind it, not being out in front of it and out in front of it, right? Those were two things that were getting our arms behind our body. So if we can keep our arms more with our body up that wall, right down by our right pocket and through, your golf swing is going to be awesome, my man, okay? So that's our recap as far as the things I think you need to be really focusing on. Do our online lesson next. Pick the time for that you feel is best for you. We have drills, you know, that you remember that we put through here. Gabe's gonna have the YouTube video up, which is so much fun because you can go back and, you know, look at that for a long time, forever. And as long as they keep YouTube running, you're gonna be able to watch that video. So, we appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you.
That was awesome for you to make that trip out there.
A lot of changes.
A lot of changes, a lot of changes. For the better. That backswings may make a huge difference. What time are you taking your flight today? Hey, is this for?
Little hat, you know, some sticker.
TI.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
We appreciate you, brother. Big
coming out
time.
here.
Dude, you know what? I mean, no, hey, listen, the good news is the job's gonna take you here more often. You have us, you're on the team now, so just please, you just utilize us as much as possible. Oh, I don't know if you follow us on IG. We've got our boy Dylan, who's, you know, battling leukemia right now.
Oh.
You know, so, you know, hey, you ever go to the range or something, throw that on the bag. We even put on the bag tag, loop it on the bag. You ever out the range and you want to do a quick little story, just have, you know, tag him.
Will do.
Just let him know you're thinking about him.
Yep.
We're playing golf, dude.
Thank you very much.
All right, I hope you all enjoyed the video with Matt. He did an incredible job and accomplished so much in just a couple of days. He's leaving back home for Boston happy, so we're happy. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. Please, if there's any questions, leave them below. Also, click the link below to pick up 3 free videos for distance. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day.